Hey everybody. So yeah, I'm not live streaming this or anything. I'm just gonna post this in the challenge, my challenge. So I do have some questions for you. What do you bench? You're a big guy.
I blame it on a bum shoulder, but I'm like 235,
Nice.
maybe,
So my body weight. I love it.
maybe.
Okay, cool. You can bench press me. I don't weigh 230. All right. So thank you for telling me a little bit about you. So yes, so I think what interests me, Bryce, honestly, we've known each other for a while, but through other people and through or through other comments and just chatting and getting to know each other. So I appreciate you chatting with me today. I appreciate you making me preferred partner. It's been awesome. It's pretty crazy, actually, as you already knew. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, dude, it's as I say,
I
it's
love that.
like selling unicorn. It's like selling freaking unicorns, dude. Like unicorn, golden unicorn poop. I have it at the close rate, my conversion rate on sales. I feel like it's almost 100%. No one has said no, or like, like I'll get back to you, or they're like, yeah, like what do we do? So
That's amazing.
congrats,
Because
man.
then you get to just focus more on what you like, which is building the product and less on sales.
Well, I'm getting a bunch from real estate, for example, right? Because I did this agent chatter real estate challenge, and that's a business. Like, and it's interesting because but I'm also getting this route and this niche and this niche, and I'm curious how like people are gonna how people are going to grow into servicing specific niches and how much effort it takes to complete a full niche if it's full support forever or if you can move on to like a different niche completely and service that. So it'll be interesting to see the different kind of businesses that grow and scale out of this nascent industry, which is
Yeah,
so
yeah,
let me
it
ask you
will be
this.
interesting.
So tell us about yourself. Like what the people don't know you. I mean, what's your background? How'd you get to this point? What made you start making bots? I know you're a programmer.
I'm not actually.
Oh,
Yeah, I so I grew up in Nebraska. Parents are farmers. Um, and I knew early on that that wasn't going to be my life because my parents told me every day, this is not going to be your life. Um, I went to engineering school. I loved math and science. So I actually went for mechanical engineering. I went to the first school that accepted me. I don't like analysis paralysis. That's not me. I like to just do stuff. So I found a school that worked and I was like, yeah, this is the one. And then like the first major that interested me, I was like, yeah, I guess I'll do that. So mechanical engineering. And then the first place that offered me a job out of school, Boeing here in Washington, I was like, yeah, okay, sounds good.
yeah, it is good.
And so the lack of, I mean, life just kind of happened to me that way. I ended up at Boeing. I was a mechanical engineer. My
Like on
parents were
planes,
so happy.
on planes
Yeah.
and doors from planes and stuff like all that stuff.
Uh, I worked on the equipment that made the planes.
Okay.
I didn't work on the plane itself. Um, but I just realized pretty early on that I did not like corporate. Um, my parents were super proud of me, happy that I was at Boeing. And then I started telling them about my dreams to escape and do my own thing. And they're like, my mom in particular was like, that's not a good idea. Don't do that. And I was like, no, yeah, I think I'm going to do my own thing. I think I'm going to get into real estate. I think that's the way for me to get out of
Well,
corporate.
like real estate, like or as a realtor.
I was doing wholesale. Do you know what wholesale is?
I think so.
So it's almost like a realtor, but for off-market properties.
Yeah,
I wasn't a realtor. I would find beat up,
got it.
distressed properties and then find a buyer for it and then make it commission in the middle. But you can do it in a way where you don't have to have a license.
Smart.
So I was doing that. Got out of real estate, did that. I was doing flips. And then I pretty quickly realized that I don't like sales either. So now I found myself in another position that I wasn't happy in. And now, while I was at Boeing, even though I was a mechanical engineer, I eventually found myself in a software role where they taught me software development and they taught me AI. And I just absorbed as much as I could from that position. So now being in a position out of corporate where I didn't like sales, I was like, I'm going to take some of that stuff and try to build my own AI to automate some of this outreach I'm doing. And that was, I believe, 4 years ago that I
What
started
were you
doing that.
using? Just Chat GPT, straight up Jason, or not even that
It
yet?
was
Oh yeah, not even that.
NLTK. It was Natural Language Toolkit.
Using
It
Python?
was with Python.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you're actually doing AI Python programming.
Yeah. So I was like I was building models and that type of stuff. But it wasn't until ChatGPT came out that it finally started working. And then I quickly realized that this is too big to just keep doing real estate and build it for myself. I needed to build this for other people too, because I
Like 2
had,
years ago? When was it? It's like only a year. I mean, when did ChatGPT come out? It hasn't been 2 years.
yeah, it was a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you had
I had
nothing at this
this
point. You had no CloseBot.
no CloseBot. I had unique insight into what AI was good at and what it wasn't good at. So I've always been building with objectives because I knew AI just wasn't good enough to look at the entire picture. So I already had that infrastructure kind of in place when I was trying to build it for myself. And then when I plugged ChatGPT into it, it just worked so much better and like
That's really
worked for the first
interesting.
time, really.
That's super duper interesting, dude, because obviously what sets you apart or your software apart is the objective, is the objective steps. And that's obviously what most people quickly realize is such a huge differentiator, power tool, and advantage of using CloseBot that I haven't seen anything like it yet. And I know it's coming up too, so I can envision how all these other amazing things you're going to do. But like, obviously, that makes CloseBot so much more powerful. Because in a second, I want to do ask you about some other, why versus this versus that. But now I see why. Now I know why, as a developer myself, I know why you came at it from that angle because you were already doing higher level modeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you started with real estate as the niche, right? You made a bot for yourself, not for anyone
Right.
else. Okay.
Yeah, it was for me. Yep. And it worked. And then I
But it
presented
wasn't
about
CloseBot. This was
ChatGPT.
you doing your own
No,
custom JSON files and JavaScript and forms, and like it was your
yeah,
own.
it was just an API endpoint that I used.
Got it.
And then I started presenting to agencies about what ChatGPT was.
When you say agencies, you mean real
Not
estate
agent,
agencies?
real estate agencies.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Not high level agencies.
Yeah.
And people got wind of what I was doing and they were like, oh, well, I'd pay you to do that. And initially I was like, it's really not for sale. I don't really want to have customers. I'm just doing my real estate thing. And then I was like, no, I'm going to do this. But I knew it would take full time. So I shut down my real estate stuff and then just focused on building the product. There was no front end for a while either. It was just an endpoint out and I would help people tie into it.
All custom jobs for specific clients.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I realized that to make my life easier, I needed some sort of a front end. So I just had a dashboard. They couldn't really edit things, but there was a dashboard and then built a way for them to edit it themselves. And that's evolved over time.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, so you have these clients, and you said I'm going to start making software, and you're by yourself. You're still by yourself, right?
Yeah, for a long time.
How long were you? How long were you your own shop?
10 months.
10 months. That's not
Yep.
terrible. I think you say like 17 years. Like, no, I'm kidding. You're not that old. But that's okay. So that's good. So you put in some dues by yourself. And how many people do you have now?
Uh, Not all full time, mostly part time, but 12.
That's good. And are you, because I know you were like, had all the hats on. Are you starting to like wear specific hats as you're growing?
Yeah, it
You know
changes
what I
so
mean?
fast too.
Right.
You get whiplash. So now Max is the lead of version one. He's the
Right.
lead of the product you guys all know. And I am just the higher level business thinking and version two lead.
Okay. Um, and you have people helping with marketing because people listening to this are probably have their own agencies and they're always not that you're an agency, but they're curious how to start their own business and like grow and stuff. And I know you actually did it in a kind of a guerrilla way where some of the people I think doing your marketing were friends of yours or people you kind of met, right? I mean, did you know these people that are helping you now in your business? Because I know you're friends, you're good friends with some of them.
I'm embarrassed to say we didn't start marketing at all until maybe 4 months ago. And I don't understand marketing, so I hired a marketing person. It was cheap. It was like $400 a month for them to do marketing. I didn't really know what they did. And just now, just this month, we're starting to get more into it. And yeah, it's a family friend of
Is your
mine
is your
who's
short
doing the
so
marketing.
I know one of your goals is always going to be growth, obviously. Do you have like, do you envision how fast you need to grow, should grow based on how many people you have, on the technical debt you have, things like that, the version 2 team that you want? Because I'm sure it's hard to because you could clearly take on almost way too much. I mean, you could take on so many people, and I mean, I'm assuming you're capable of it, but I'm curious if at this stage, if you're like, trying to limit explosive growth, or are you just looking for explosive growth right now? Are you planning like you know what I mean? Because like I feel that you're going to explode. I think you are exploding, but I feel there's going to be like a hockey stick kind of thing. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know, a year, 6 months, 2 years. I don't know, but quick, right? What do you think?
I'm comfortable with the growth we're experiencing right now. You don't want to grow too fast
Yeah, right.
because unlike people operating with bots, we rely on headcount. I have to scale up my support team, the developer team, and our code ecosystem. When I first built CloseBot, it was just for me. And then as time has gone on, we're getting more and more users. Now we're doing like 10 to 15,000 messages a day. And the code that operates now looks a lot different than the code that operated then. And still, as we bring on more and more users and that number goes up and up, I have to make code improvements to accommodate the traffic. So I'm happy with the growth that we're at right now. I don't really want it to grow much faster because I can just barely keep up with it now.
Okay. One thing I think you mentioned something before that you wanted an interface over the chat layer, chat GBT, what it's kind of agnostic, right? And you clearly built that. So in terms of like, I tell people like the one awesome thing about CloseBot is that it's decoupled from the models. I mean, you may use Claude, which is a new model out there, but people don't know what it is. ChatGPT is the one you're using now. There may be five. That next year there could be a new one you've never heard of, and as long as you're using CloseBot, you're kind of shielded from any of
Yeah.
that nonsense, which is huge, right?
Yeah.
So with that, what kind of just let people know, like, where do you see that going with right now? You were ChatGPT. I know you mentioned Claude. Like people have asked me, like, are they going to use Claude? Like, I don't know. Like, what are the differences between and what is coming out? Like, how is CloseBot going to change in terms of how how its brain operates, essentially based on how you hook it up?
Our mission as a company is providing a tool that allows people to quickly and easily build expert level bots. Now, if you focus on quick and easy, we don't want people to have to think about prompting. We don't want people to have to think about the model. Um, our version 2 product is going to have an ability where you can select a hierarchy of models you want to use. But for most people, they're going to pick the simple view where we will decide for them.
Okay.
We're going to do testing on our end to see which models are best at determining whether a goal is accomplished versus accomplishing regular objectives versus calendar objectives. And we'll dynamically switch between the models on our end for people.
Do you think the cost will ever be free for that end of the AI? Because you know, if you've been around a while, you know that things that cost a lot of money cost nothing, eventually. And I kind of tell people that, like, yeah, you have to pay some money to ChatGPT, but eventually that payment level won't really be required. We're not there yet, but I see that coming relatively quickly in terms of the costs. What do you think of
The
it?
cost will be driven way down because right now it's extremely cheap and you really just have one major player, OpenAI. So Claude is getting there for sure. Even when you have two major players and they are able to compete against each other, we should see the the cost drastically go down. Eventually, I could see free with an option for paid. I think the free will probably do like subliminal advertising. You know, people,
Really?
they might make their money on the free by allowing subliminal advertising, people to pay for slots for their products and services to be recommended. And then the paid
Hold on.
version would
What
be
do you
if
mean
you don't want
subliminal
it.
advertising?
So if you go into ChatGPT and you say, I'm looking for a phone that that has just the best camera. That's important to me. It'll scour the internet and give you unbiased resources. But if Microsoft paid for that slot, it might say Microsoft's phone has these features, blah, blah, blah. It would focus on Microsoft
Really?
and their product and then
This hasn't
mention
happened
the
yet. This
runners up.
hasn't happened yet. This doesn't exist yet.
We don't know.
What? Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Because this is an interesting product to sell too. Because I was in, I'm not going to name the niche, but I was in a group for a niche, and man, a lot of these people thought it was really a bad thing. AI, it really scares them, and the other people are some people are so just jump right in, and it is interesting to see how, yeah, this is a very weird thing to sell because it is like you're selling. Yeah, I mean, I've been around since the birth of the internet, and this isn't even like that. This is much more boom, like eyes popping out. Like no one understood the internet. They didn't understand
Right.
what websites were. It was, even huge companies are like, what am I going to do with what's a
There is
home?
no interface, but this
There
is
was
like a
nothing.
new thing and there's an interface. So we all understand it.
And it works because it's mimicking a human. So like I'm doing email with CloseBot, and that is my favorite way because that seems more realistic than
Really?
dude. Because you're social for social engineering sake, right? Your guard's just not up at all. Your guard's up with every chat. Oh, it's spam. Not an email coming from a company I recommended. Hey, it's Sam, the salesman. It's Bob's Real Estate. Oh, cool. Like, you've made bots. I've heard people talk about the bots you've made that I don't know if trick's the right word, but it sounds real. I mean, the conversation was so realistic with the quirks of a person that people making a bot didn't recognize their own bot. So, I think that's amazing that we're there right now. So and that brings me to a different. So I want to move on to a different subject. So, in my chatbot challenge, I'm like 85% CloseBot, obviously, but I do show like chat base and aminos because there's some advantages to these
Yeah.
easier platforms for sure. The
Yeah.
chatbot widget, I know V2, everybody, you don't know, but it's going to be ridiculous. But either way, like, look, there's other. I don't think Bryce or I is, I don't know what word I want
I
to use.
recommend other products all the time. I want
Okay,
to say
thanks.
that too.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So, and I mostly recommend CloseBot, and it is for everybody. But if they don't want to do a thing, put a little chat-based thing on your site or something. So people ask me specifically. I want to say their name, but the big Z, and you. And so, what is the main different? I know the main differentiators, but tell everyone what's the main differentiator, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of CloseBot versus Zeus?
Yeah. So that's really us versus most of the other products out there.
Okay.
Most of the other products, they rely on you to be a prompt engineer. So you go in, you have this big text input where you can put your prompt, and that gets sent to the AI every time. Now, that probably works fine for simple scenarios. Maybe you want to get someone's name and email and then do something. But if you want to get anything complex, or you want to make sure that it follows your objectives to a T, follows your guidelines to a T, that doesn't work very well. The AI tends to go off base. It can't update fields accurately. It just doesn't have enough direction. CloseBot is that direction. With our focus on objectives and changing out what's sent to the AI, it's able to keep it much more focused, update fields accurately, able to conversationally book appointments without changing over to another bot that loses vision of your FAQs. I say like that's the main thing. There are a bunch of other things like our purposeful typos and message breakup features.
Also faster now, I got to tell you, dude. It's faster. It's got your bot got, your bot got so fast that it was breaking up things, but your bot's so fast now it's like every day. I'm literally making bots 4 to 5 hours a day straight every single day, and I'm like, wow, like, oh my God, look how fast it is. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so way to go there. So here's the thing. So obviously when people use your product, and I'm working with clients, and we get these error logs, right? And most of the time they don't have anything to do with CloseBot. So what are some of the things people need to watch out for when you're running a service that has 3 points of breakage, go high level, CloseBot, and OpenAI? What are some things people could look out for that isn't that? Because when you're developing for a client, and these are people that might have clients, right? So it is kind of embarrassing when it breaks, but it's not CloseBot's fault. It's not even your fault in any way. So what are some tips, working with clients when it says close, it doesn't work, it's broken, but it's not broken, and it's not your fault. I don't want to pass blame, but you understand.
Yeah.
It's a good answer for
completely.
that. Without saying, oh, Bryce said this.
First place you want to go look is your CloseBot dashboard and find the messages that are causing the issues. And if it's orange, that means that there's an issue. And it's not CloseBot that's the issue, but you can click that message and look into the logs to see
any orange error is not a CloseBot issue. Anything that's orange is not CloseBot.
Right.
Oh, that's very interesting. See, guys, that alone gets you through. That speeds up the conversation with your client, and they just have to, I mean, you could look into it for them, I guess, but okay, that's very good to know. That's really, really, really good to know. And lately it seems there's been lots of lead connector issues. So that's a go high level thing, and it's and it's not repeatable. It's not all day long.
But there was a rampant issue where they weren't. So we switched over to the V2 connection with Go High Level,
right? Because
they forced us to, and that is they generate a token that's good for 1 day. It's an API key. It's good for 1 day, and then after a day, you have to refresh that token. Well, they weren't refreshing tokens. And so it would just say token expired, invalid token. And so that's an example of something that's on high level. And the only way around it is to go in and click disconnect and click connect again.
On your bot.
On your bot, yeah. Which if you have one client, no big deal. But some of our people have, 50 plus bots.
Oh yeah. I've seen it.
Now right when we got this implemented, I don't think it's happened since, but now we have a system where if it happens, you get an email notification. We explain in the email it's not CloseBot's fault.
Who gets the email, the client or the agency owner?
The agency owner.
Okay. Got it. So in terms of stability, people flat out ask me, so I'm just going to flat out ask you, what is the percentage uptime of CloseBot and booking? Because I can't at this point say it's 100% because that's not fully accurate, but it's amazing either way. But when you're testing over and over again with a client, just what is the
uptime or accuracy?
Not accuracy. What is the
uptime?
Is that what the word is? Meaning when you're working with a client, you're testing over and over again, and it appears to them that it's not working, but it may be working. It could be something totally out of your control. They consider that not working, right? So if you test it 100 times, it may only do that once, which is pretty good, right? But they see it. So what's a good answer when a client who's used to just a specific booking engine that may be 100% accurate, or 100% uptime? What do you think about that?
Specifically on booking or just
booking? People, but people have asked me on the booking. Because they're coming. So clients that want to get into CloseBot, they have a solution that works, and it never fails, right? So they're asking me, well, I've heard stories or I've seen it and blah, blah, blah. And so what is the real number? I'm like, I can't answer that. I really can't answer that question.
We probably get now maybe two booking support messages a day. And let's say only half the people who have the issue come into support. So let's say it's 4. So probably 98% good.
Yeah, that seems like a standard service agreement with internal software amongst departments. When I was at other places, it was like, yeah, so okay, awesome. So it's industry standard. I would be able to confidently tell them it's well within industry standards.
And most of the people who are having the issue are trying to do more of the complex thing,
I
which it
agree,
still
and
works for, but
yeah,
like dynamically changing calendars or gathering available times in the beginning of the conversation, doing other objectives, booking at the end, like that's going to decrease that number.
and now that I know that orange, what orange that orange mean, I should have known this. I apologize, but now that I can tell everyone that orange means something different than what I expected, the percentage is much lower because it didn't fail. And I'm like, it wasn't CloseBot's fault. It's still working. Something else isn't working. It always works. It just is it prompted
And
right?
some of the orange messages aren't even issues.
I
Like
know.
if uh if the bot suggests a time that is no longer available because time has passed and then the person tries to book that time, an orange message would come up and it would say, oh, that slot's filled now. What about 9 o'clock on Monday? An error really hasn't happened, but we show it in orange because we tried to book it and it didn't book.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for that answer because that is a question I do get. Um, okay, cool. So everyone knows how awesome CloseBot is. They know why it's awesome. They know why you're awesome. Um, what's coming up? I mean, people see CloseBot 1 and it's always changing and there's things going on. So apart from V1, not everyone got to see, like I did, a cool preview, but like what's coming up with V2? Because it seems to me that it's going to be like everything you've ever wanted in a bot making application is about to come your way.
Yeah, I feel like everything I've ever wanted in a bot building application is coming our way. It is hard though because like we have big shoes to fill and we've made the shoes. So
You'd have,
um,
yes.
the biggest things for people who are used to CloseBot, the biggest thing I would say is that the bot will be able to do multiple objectives simultaneously. So if you have name, email, phone, instead of the annoying, hey, what's your name? Thanks for your name. Now what's your email? Thanks for that. Now what's your phone number? It would be able to say, hey, give me your name, email, phone number. And if
Mhm.
they gave you the name and phone number, but not the email, it would still move on to the next stages past those objectives, but still be stuck on that one that hasn't been given. So it'll be able to it'll be able to do multiple objectives at the same time at
Wow.
multiple different stages. Like maybe if their name is John, you want it to do a specific branch and go a certain way. It'll still go there and still be stuck over here. You have tools like Zapier, Make, Pabbly,
Yeah.
workflows in high level even. Things exist in one spot, but our conversations don't work like that. So this will be the first builder that allows people to exist in multiple spots. And that's really exciting to me. This
Yeah.
doesn't, it's like, doesn't exist.
I can't wait. And version 1, obviously people hear there's version 2 coming, but they shouldn't be worried if they're putting a lot of resources into V1 because that will import right into V2, right?
Yeah. And we won't deprecate V1. We'll
Okay.
still have a team for V1. So we'll have a migration team as well. If you do want to move over, it'll be really easy to convert V1 bots to V2. We're making sure that we build it in that way so that there's an automated migration. But for the people who like are happy with V1 and it's working, like they don't have to do anything either.
Nice. Um, will you be adding a chat bot, like an external chat widget, like live chat, but like a CloseBot live chat widget? Because that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
huge too.
It'll be a lightweight CRM in itself because you
Okay.
have all these people that are like, you have a roofer, he doesn't care if it's high level.
Mm-mm.
He's not going to log into it. He wants to use his phone to call people. CloseBot V2 would be perfect for that because it'll go on his site, it'll collect all the attributes, be having conversations, and then he could log in and just see the conversations, see the collected info, and then pick up his phone and dial. Or you could plug it into high level and be able to do what we do now.
So that just popped into my head. So database, everyone always asks database for activation. So you may have heard of what is it? The Sleeping Beauty, Chat GPT, Sleeping Beauty, right? From that wardrobe, Dan wardrobe out in Europe. You ever heard of that thing?
Mm-mm.
No, really. Oh, So a lot of people got into chatbots from him because he's like amazing, incredible with sales and marketing and like getting cold leads. He's one of the best in the world, probably. And he literally wrote the book on lead gen, literally in Amazon. It's his book. But he got really into ChatGPT, and people got into that first because you didn't need anything else. And so people ask me all the time, well, how's it different than that? So it's just a ChatGPT solution, but it works really well for database reactivation. When it comes to like database reactivations and different use cases of bots, and we'll close up here in like 5 minutes. But are there any like interesting use cases you've heard of that are outside of the box? Like obviously home services, lawyers, real estate. I mean, we've all heard of that. But anything like any interesting use cases that we may not know about? You don't have to name a client, but like anything you really, wow, I didn't think you could do. Use CloseBot for that.
Yeah, collecting information, then giving quotes on stuff. That's new. Collecting information and using the information to fill contracts, and then switching over to email and and sending contracts for DocuSign.
Really?
Yeah, with the filled in conversationally obtained attributes.
For real estate deals?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff happening. Yeah, I'm surprised all the time by what people are doing.
I'm going to post about tonight. I think you'll dig it. It's a cool estimate, time estimate, and money estimate bot that dynamically changes the calendar based off of all that stuff. It's really amazing what you can do. It's like once you add in automations, it's just like programming. It becomes so fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are there any what's your advice to newbies? What's your advice to people that are new to the CloseBot game and are into it, like they're business owners? As you know, there's that group of people that are like, they just want to do it. What's your advice to newbies?
Keep it simple at the beginning. Like there are people like you who you've been in it for a long time. You understand all the nuance. But when you start, just create a simple bot and just release it. Even our bot tied into our website. I mean, it collects name, email, phone, does the time zone objective, and then tries to book them to an appointment. It's not dynamically switching stuff. It works great. But people have these like the perfect scenario in their head, and they want it to switch in all these scenarios and do all these things, and they're just getting started, and then they get frustrated and then they quit. And then you compare them to people who keep it simple and they end up rising above them because this person tried to start here. You can't do that.
Great advice. Thank you. Okay, I've gone through all my questions. I don't want to keep you longer than required. You can get back to making us amazing bots. But I just want to say thank you so much for chatting with me, and I look forward to chatting with you again. You're awesome. Everyone thinks, that your product is just, we have a very well-loved product, dude.
You have such a special part in my heart.
Oh.
Special place.
Good.
Just because you've challenged me as a founder to to hear the people and like create things that people want, and have kept me accountable. And that at the beginning was like, it made me feel a certain way, as a growing founder, not being used to that criticism and that stuff. But now you've given me such an amazing gift.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've watched you grow. You've actually grown
with me.
You've grown as a person. I've watched. It's fun.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm able to take that stuff to heart more instead of letting it get to me.
Yeah, I think people notice that too.
You were so important.
Cool. Thank you. Well, again, Bryce, I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day. Tell everyone there I say hi.
Deal.
Thanks.
Talk to you again.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.